Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of the Computer America Show. Thank you for joining us here on the program. And as we sent out a special show reminder, Charles, you probably got it too, that we've had a schedule change. Normally, Intel is with us on the third Wednesday of the month, but they've asked to switch to next Wednesday. So they'll be on next Wednesday. In the meantime, though, we have an extremely exciting guest this first hour. We're going to be talking about quantum computers. But not about talking about it. These people have actually done it, and they actually have not the first one. They're already in their second generation. They've got the D-Wave Model 2, the D-Wave 2, and we're going to be talking about that and what quantum computer means to everybody.
4 minutes until showtime.
And what that means to you, the general consumer. One of these days you're going to actually have a quantum computer in your home. Maybe, could be. Anyway, we're going to be talking to We'll be talking to them in the first hour, and of course, hour two will be Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So that'll all get started, and hopefully it remembers everything, because it's been almost 2 weeks.
We'll find out.
It's like riding a bike, right? You know.
It'll come back to me, or we'll stumble and fall, and it'll be a horrible show, but I think we'll be okay.
I think it'll be okay. Yeah, you have to. First of all, your mic is too far away. So you still sound like you're in a tunnel. You got to get
My
close.
mic is right here.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, when you do that, that's fine. But when you lean back, I don't hear you.
I lean back because there's things that I'm doing.
Yeah, I know.
Just showing you the numbers that we for deposit today.
Oh, that's because of all the reversals.
Mm-hmm.
We got that one back, got that one back, and we got that one back. Good.
3 minutes until showtime.
Okay, anyway. So as I said, we'll be starting up momentarily, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
This is your captain speaking. We are
Cruising at 30,000 feet.
We're reaching the altitude of 36,000 feet. I'm going to turn off the broadcast sign here.
The engines, the plane.
Oh no, that's the engines. Wrong button. Wrong button. No, go. I'd make a horrible pilot just because of that.
Probably. Just all the joking goes on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 36,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the main engines. We're going to coast down to about 18,000. When we get down lower than that, you'll hear some sounds, and the masks above you will drop down. But there'll be nothing to be worried about.
Yes. Obviously, you got to get news stories from me for hour two, and
2 minutes until showtime.
And just a reminder. I'm just giving you a little reminder, so in case you forget.
I forget these things.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So you'll start collecting those, and
Yep, you made me completely forget what I was going to. Oh, I was going to. What's our website again?
ComputerAmerica.com. God.
Oh.
Now
Hey,
tell
my
me.
name is still up there.
Yeah, you're up there. Did you see the bulletin that I sent out? I've also updated it. Did you see the bulletin? Did you get that today? I know you're on.
I saw it come in my email, but I hadn't
read it. Okay.
I've been doing a lot. See us on Spoonit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This was one of our guests. Mm-hmm. You just have to put that code in when you're there, and you can see us there.
See us doing what? What does it do?
Just see us on. They have us listed. It's like you watch the show and you'll.
1 minute until showtime.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Stand by.
Stand by.
By the way, we still have our Marty Winston, editor of the News Tips Bulletin. We're doing. That's doing really well now.
Nice.
It's the usual.
What's the usual?
Cronies in the chat room.
Oh, yes. Firefox is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the first time this browser is going to be
Your
open.
show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
Oh man, I've only been gone 2 weeks, and you got rid of the Craig Crossman.
I just thought I would do it straight for you the first time.
Oh, okay. So I'm a return. I'm a co-host virgin again. Is that what's happening?
Yes, you are.
Oh, that's horrible. I'm back. Certified ethical hacker Charles.
And you are who?
Certified ethical hacker Charles.
Charles. Yeah. Charles is back. All right, after a 2-week hiatus, and he is flown in and back in the co-host chair. And so I take it you had a good couple of weeks, productive, I assume.
I hate LA. It's just I don't care who you are. It's not a good place to be.
All right.
So all of our listeners out there in LA, we still love you as listeners. It's just your city sucks.
Okay. Okay. That said, for those of you who get our weekly email newsletter, the show reminder, you got today's bulletin announcing that Intel, who is normally here on the third Wednesday of the month. Yes.
I think your button slipped on that.
No, they have decided they're not going to be here tonight. They're going to be here next Wednesday. Okay, so that's one of the schedule changes that we've had. So Intel will be next Wednesday. Also, just a couple of quick updates. Next Tuesday, that is the 22nd of July, there will be no live show. So we're going to have a rebroadcast, a best of show on that as well. And then, as I said, Intel will be on the 23rd. I believe that's it, and we had all that in the bulletin that went out. So if you're subscribed to the weekly email newsletter, the show reminder, you already know this. However, if you don't know it, you really should get the show reminder. Again, it's completely free, and it's really easy to sign up. It's right there on the homepage. This is our free newsletter. Just click the button and sign up. It's completely private, completely free, and matter of fact, from the list of subscriber names, every Friday we draw a winning name to win a really nice prize from Logitech. But it's private. We don't give the information out to anybody, unless you win something. If you win, then we'll give you your contact info to Logitech so they can mail you your prize. But that's it. Okay. So for those of you who do get the show reminder, you know of the schedule changes, and it will be reflected, of course, in next Monday's show reminder as well. So I'm sure you have lots of amusing stories of your travels, and Charles, and
Do we want to get into that? Because that would be
no. But maybe in the next hour, because I've got a couple of things that we're going to be doing before we get into the computer news. But let's get started with tonight's show, okay? And I'm very excited about our guest tonight because he is with a company that's really done something amazing, and they have produced not only the first, but evidently my understanding is still the only quantum computer for the consuming audience market. Our guest tonight is with a company called D-Wave Systems, and he's here to discuss quantum computing, what it means. Now, founded in 1999, D-Wave Systems is the first commercial quantum computing company. Their mission is to integrate new discoveries in physics, engineering, manufacturing, and computer sciences into breakthrough approaches to computation that help solve some of the world's most complex challenges. Today, D-Wave is the recognized leader in the development, fabrication, and integration of superconducting quantum computers. Now, joining us is Jeremy Hilton. Jeremy is the Vice President of Processor Development at D-Wave Systems. Jeremy, welcome into Computer America. How are you tonight, sir?
Thanks very much, Craig. I'm doing well.
All right. So So quantum, we hear about it all the time, and you hear stories about quantum physics and quantum mechanics, and they say they say if it's a non-intuitive science. Everything that you think of intuitively, when you get down to the quantum level, kind of goes out the door. It is especially when you deal with quantum, when you get into very, very tiny objects, things react non-intuitively. So taking this very unusual science and applying this to computing. So what is quantum computing, and basically how does it work? Why don't we just start off with that?
Sure, we'll ease into it. Is that the plan?
Exactly.
So you've got it right. The basic idea behind quantum computing is to harness quantum mechanical effects to perform computation, and so quantum mechanical effects are really fundamentally different from classical mechanics, which is really what our intuition is based on. Mm-hmm. For example, if you have a baseball and you throw it at somebody, and they will know where to go and where to put their hand in order to catch it. Right. And that's your brain performing a classical calculation to predict where that ball is going to end up. Yeah. In quantum mechanics, the world is very, very strange and completely counterintuitive. And it's been kind of a revelation in the field for 100 years or more, and so here what we're doing is we're saying, well, is it possible to build a machine, a computer that can actually harness these effects? So the kinds of effects we're talking about have names like superposition. You can imagine a bit, a 0 or a 1, which can be not a 0 or a 1 like we would experience in classical machines. Well, I call it classical computers, mm-hmm. The computers that are like your laptop. Mm-hmm. And if it's in a superposition, it means that it can occupy both of those states simultaneously, which is truly a quantum mechanical effect. And I don't mean that it's some statistical thing where it's actually just in one state, and you're statistically saying maybe it's one or the other. It's actually physically really in both of those states. I mean, physicists have used ideas like the multiverse to explain how this could be possible, where a multiverse means that there's actually a universe where your bit is a 0 and a universe where your bit is a 1. And the computation is somehow manipulating those universes to compute information. Mm. So superposition is one of the most common effects. The one that gets a lot of attention and is very important for quantum computing is called entanglement. And entanglement is this idea that if you have two objects that are entangled, mm-hmm. Let's say I have two objects that I create, and they're entangled in a way so that the 0 or the 1 of one of the objects is going to be the same as the 0 or the 1 of the other. Right. But when I generate them, I don't know what their value is. They're in a superposition. Mm-hmm. So if I were to measure them and make them classical, they'll collapse to give me a 0 or a 1. If I do that over and over and over again, I'll develop some probability of what state they would have been in. But if I do that for one of those objects, then I immediately and instantaneously know what the value of the other one is without having to measure it. And it could be nowhere. It could be totally in another. It could be hundreds of miles away if that was the case. I mean, they're connected somehow. It could be on the moon. It could be on the moon. Exactly. There's some relationship in the universe that we don't exactly understand, and Einstein called this spooky action at a distance, and that really is an apt way to think about it. And because there is some relationship between those objects that correlates them across space and time. Yeah, that is. So those are some of the examples of effects that need to be utilized in order to perform computation, when you're building a quantum computer, and that's really the idea, and that's what D-Wave was kind of founded on in '99, where already some pretty significant ideas about the fields had been generated, by some very high-powered thinkers in the academic world. Yeah, and it can give you a headache too.
There's something else called tunneling too. I think, right? When it comes up against the wall or something, it goes through it rather than get over it. I think it's called tunneling, the tunneling effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is that also used?
Yeah. If you have.
Go ahead.
Yes, definitely. That's an important quantum mechanical effect. So if you have a quantum mechanical particle in a box, and it is impossible for the particle to bounce over the walls of the box, say it doesn't have a lid. Quantum mechanically, it's possible for the particle to exist outside of the box, beyond the walls. And if there happens to be another box beside it, then it's possible for that particle to actually just suddenly materialize in the other box, and that's an effect called quantum tunneling. And that's something that is actually for the D-Wave processor, the D-Wave quantum annealing processor, that's a very important effect for us to ensure is going on.
All right, so taking some of all these non-intuitive things, just a few things that you've mentioned tonight, and I know that obviously we're just barely scratching the surface of what's happening on here. How do you use all that to actually make a computer that does productive work? How does this actually work in this quantum computing?
Yeah, so in order to explain that, let me give a bit of context, because there are a couple different I guess I would say types of quantum computers. So the field is relatively young, but there are already different ways to build a quantum computer. D-Wave builds one that we call adiabatic quantum computing or quantum annealing, and it's kind of an application-specific machine. So let me first start with the more general purpose, sort of what's called universal gate model quantum computer, because it has a lot more context in the lore of quantum computing as it exists. And then that'll give me kind of a context to talk about the D-Wave technology and how it's a little bit different and how it works to solve problems. So back in '94, there was a fellow who named Peter Shor, who developed an algorithm that he ultimately called the Shor algorithm, which became famous because it showed that if you had a universal gate model quantum computer, you could factor numbers exponentially faster than the best algorithms that were known to do that. And the reason the paper became sensational is that if you make a purchase online, the encryption that's used to encode your credit card information, for example, is based on a key where you have a large number, and the keys to that number are prime factors. So the security of internet commerce, e-commerce, is based on the notion that it's very hard for our computers to factor numbers. So all of a sudden, this researcher comes along and says, well, actually, quantum exponentially faster. Now there's a problem, because what wasn't possible before, a quantum computer could do in a second. So the field really galvanized around that, and that got a lot of attention, and that's really why we're talking today, because of this potential. So his algorithm showed that you could harness these things like superposition and entanglement and tunneling and all these quantum mechanical effects, apply them in an algorithm to process information, and achieve an exponential speed up over the best algorithms that exist. So that's a pretty exciting thing to show as a possibility. So that the field has matured. When D-Wave started, we were focused on building that kind of a machine, or evaluating that kind of a machine, and this universal gate model type machine, and understanding what it would take to actually build one of these things. The challenge is that the machines are extremely prohibitively difficult to build. The kinds of control you need in order to manipulate quantum mechanical information in that context is really in the extreme. And the way that we think of it is that there are several generations of technology that have to be invented and developed in order to realize a machine like that. But also in the early 2000s, some researchers at MIT came along with an idea, in particular a fellow named Eddie Farhi, Seth Lloyd, and others, and said, well, actually there might be a different way that you could perform a computation, and it's more consistent with what Richard Feynman himself thought of when he came up with some ideas about quantum computing. And in this case, you actually are taking advantage a little bit more of the way that nature works. And so the idea here is that you have a system that you can program, and you start the system off in a particular state, where you're able to let it settle very quickly and easily into what we call the ground state. The problem that you're going to solve, you encode into a set of program values for that system, and then the algorithm literally slowly changes the system from that initial condition to the programming features that define the problem. And if you do that slowly, then it stays in what I call what physicists call the ground state. And when you end up with that problem, with that system corresponding to your problem, that ground state is encoding the solutions to your problem, and it's actually encoding the optimum solution to your problem. So it gives you the correct answer. And so now how quantum mechanics is involved is very interesting. That initial condition for the system actually puts you into a superposition of all of the possible states that your system can occupy. So if you have, in our case, our latest technology has 512 quantum bits in the processor. So when we start a computation, we're going to load that thing into a superposition of all of those states. And so, you know, what this means is if I have 2 bits, if I have 1 bit, then it can have 2 values, right, a 0 and a 1. If I have 2 bits, then I have 4 values, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And that goes on, and the number of possible states you can represent with n bits is 2 to the n. In a quantum computer, then, if you can put each bit into a superposition of 0 and 1, then you can represent not just one binary number with n bits, you can represent all 2 to the n binary numbers at the same time, because they're encoded in a bit. And so this is where some of this excitement about quantum computing comes in. So we have this exponential space that now is available to us in what are really the same number of resources you would have in your normal computer. So we've done only a couple of special things to make sure those bits can be quantum mechanical, and now all of a sudden we have this unimaginably massive exponential space to compute with. So that's the first thing. So we initialize the Hamiltonian into a superposition of all possible states. And so we have 2 to the 512 possible states. That 2 to the 512, by the way,
is a huge number.
Exactly. Somehow makes a bit more sense. Is like 10 to the 153, which is more than the number of fundamental particles that exist in the known universe.
Yeah, I know.
For example, so it's a very, very large number.
so you don't really have to. You don't have to make a bigger one. You can probably with the 512 that you have now, you have all the elbow room, if you will, to do exactly what it is that you want to move forward with, right?
Well, so that's where things get interesting. So then to connect that to say commercial problems that you would be interested in, problems that our customers would be interested in, problems that people at home would be interested in, then you have to understand the complexity of the problem that the machine can represent. So, and this is something that comes from the relationship between the bits. So in our machine, when I talk about this system, and I apologize for the vague language, but I'm kind of easing into the description without wanting to jump into too much technical detail. So stop me or accelerate me depending on what you think is appropriate. So in this system that we've set up in this superposition of all of these states, as we morph the system and slowly change the system into the system that is defined by the problem parameters, the major thing that happens is that connections between the bits start to form, and those connections, you could think of it often the way that we describe this is like an energy landscape, like hills and valleys. Okay, and so your problem. Each problem you would run on the machine is like a set of hills and valleys, and the solution you're looking for corresponds to the lowest point in that entire landscape. So the lowest point in some valley of that entire landscape. And so, but the situation that we start off in when we initialize the system and we're in a superposition, this is actually more like you could think of it as just a well. So it's very simple, and it's really easy to just drop to the bottom of the well. So we're going to take a well, and we're slowly going to change it into a very complex landscape of hills and valleys. And the system has to find out how to get to the bottom of that. Now, this is actually something that's really consistent with how nature works. So, for example, a result that came out probably almost a decade ago now is quantum photosynthesis. So this idea that if a photon hits a leaf and it needs to convert that photon into energy that's usable for the plant, somehow it does that with 99% efficiency, whereas the best solar cells we can manufacture have like 15% efficiency.
It's woefully.
Some researchers found out that
it's woefully
that's a quantum mechanical process.
Right. It's woefully.
And
let me ask you this, because again, as you said, we can probably go on with this. So when do you get to the point where I mean, all this, I mean, is it a ways off? I mean, because you're going to have to come up with an operating system like traditional computers have. I mean, is that what we're going to see, or are these computers going to be specifically designed, well, this is going to work on weather, and that's all it's going to be, or is this going to do this specific problem, or will these quantum computers be able to do, with an operating system and do, run applications and I think that we're a little bit more used to, except that I'll be extremely fast. Is that the direction that you want to head towards, or, I mean, where are you at that point?
Yeah, sure, that's a great question. So the major focus of D-Wave right now is that the technology we're building is thought of as a coprocessor or an accelerator. Mm-hmm. And in these early days, it's really an accelerator that you would add to a data cluster, mm-hmm. A compute capability. So you have these complex arrays of machines, whether it's Titan or Google servers, for example. Mm-hmm. They're crunching away on solving problems, and every once in a while you get to a particular kind of problem that's sort of like that factoring problem. You know that you can't solve it very well using classical methods, and so that's something you'd really like to have some new approach to solving. Mm-hmm. That's where that nugget, that part of that problem, would be farmed out to our technology, mm-hmm. and then crunched through using quantum computing. And the solutions get returned to the classical algorithm, and it carries on happily. So all that we need to do really is provide the interface between those technologies and a programmer who's at this point solving fairly sophisticated algorithms on that kind of HPC equipment, high performance computing equipment, is going to make some slightly specialized calls, but something that's fairly close to what they're used to doing anyway. So we're making it fit with the existing infrastructure as much as possible, because people are already solving the kinds of problems that we want to help them solve better. And that's an important thing. Now, in the future, you could say, okay, but as the technology matures, it becomes more capable, it can solve more kinds of problems. Would it be standalone? And our belief is that it always will be a hybrid system. It's always going to be something that's integrated with classical machines. Classical machines are also absolutely amazing at how fast they can be and how quickly they can perform basic algebraic operations. So there's always going to be great synergy between the two.
So it's going to be like, so I'm going to plug in a quantum computer card that's going into my regular traditional digital computer, and the two are going to kind of work. So when it does this when it gets into the number portion, crunching and everything, it turns that over to the quantum computer portion, and then it gets the numbers that it needs back to continue on doing what it's normally doing. Sort of, I know it's maybe an overly simplistic explanation, but maybe that's what you're heading for.
Well, and initially it wouldn't be a card.
Well,
if you were a user, you would make a call to the cloud, for example, uh-huh. and there would be a cloud service that has a quantum cloud that you could call to if you needed those kinds of resources. That's the most straightforward way to make those accessible to a broader audience. But part of the reason for that, I often get asked this question, sort of, when is it going to be on my desktop? Yeah. And the technology right now, if I can just kind of frame that for you and your listeners, the processor is based on the superconducting integrated circuit, and so the materials that we're using, which is mainly it's a metal, it's woven, and so that's very, very cold. But that's not cold enough for us because temperature is noise, and we need the noise to be as low as possible. So we actually continue on almost to absolute zero, which is sorry, in Fahrenheit. I'm used to talking about it in Celsius, which is minus 273 degrees Celsius, and it's something like minus 400 something Fahrenheit. I apologize for not having that for your listeners. I am from Canada.
That's okay.
So it's very, very cold, and so you need a special kind of refrigerator to achieve an operating temperature like that. It's not something D-Wave had to design and develop. This technology exists, and it's existed for a long time, mostly in physics, ultra cold physics labs, and research experiments.
But you're bringing it all together. You're bringing it all together. Right. You're bringing it all together, though. So.
We're bringing it together and building it into a package that can be installed in a data center, so that it just looks like another one of the machines that you'd have in your data. Or nothing out of the ordinary about the system itself. What's out of the ordinary is what's inside the system, and it's that extreme kind of environment that we have to support that makes it a longer ways out. I won't say that it would never be a laptop type or desktop type system, but makes it a longer way out before that kind of technology could get to the point where you can have it on your desktop.
Right.
And so the interesting thing though is that a lot of the early applications we're focusing on are related to machine learning, and machine learning has kind of the hard phase of machine learning is all about training your algorithm. So you give it sets of data, and you need to teach it how to respond when it sees certain data. So for example, let's say we wanted to train it on telling you if there was a car in a picture or not. You'd show it a picture, and it would try to determine if there was a car. And you might have a picture that has a tire, but you could very quickly look at that and say, well, there's just a tire. There's no car in that picture. But this is a very hard problem for machines to use.
Yes, it is.
To solve.
Yes, it is.
But you can imagine that on your smartphone, you take pictures all the time, and we see more and more that the phones are trying to provide context in those pictures. They'd love to be able to say, oh, well, I know where you're located. I know what you're looking at. Here are these things. Let me be more helpful for you.
Well, there are apps out there. There are apps out there like CamFind, which is that you just take a picture of it, and it'll basically identify telling you what it's looking at, and it does it extremely accurately. I mean, we've actually
it is kind of a scary accurate app. Dee has used it on many a different thing that I'm just kind of confused at sometimes, and it works like a champ. So.
Yeah. So I mean, there are things, but that's not using quantum, but it's using standard algorithms to do that too. But obviously,
that's right.
But go ahead.
So, for example, one of the things that a lot of people would like to do is be able to search Google based on pictures with an image, right? I have an image of something, and I want to find other things that are like that to maybe identify it or to get some information about what that is. And those quickly get into problems that are very difficult. And in this case, you can run those problems with classical algorithms, and depending on what they are, like facial recognition technology, for example, works really well with classical algorithms. But there are certain things where the accuracy is just limited, and so then there is a lot of space for this to be evolved. And the important part about this, and the reason I brought it up, is that the algorithms that would run, say, on your phone, it's software that's being trained by a complicated algorithm, and that training part is where the computational horsepower comes from. And what we're talking about being able to do, and we've collaborated with Google on this in the past and published some results on it as well as presented at conferences, that what we're trying to do is leverage the quantum computer to take advantage of the effects that it provides to improve the accuracy of those types of things.
Right. Jeremy,
the net result of it still is a piece of software that will run on your phone, but now it's being maybe trained by a quantum computer as well.
All right. If you want to talk to our guests or have a question, give them a call at 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881 will get you on and get you through. Email is live@computeramerica.com, or click on our chat room /video and go into our chat room. There, it's really simple to do. And also, you can watch us on our live Computer America video streaming page, brought to you by Otherworld Computing. We're going to take a break, and then we'll continue on. Again, we're talking to Jeremy Hilton. He is with D-Wave Systems, talking about quantum computers. They're here. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Hi, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the Cross Tech 2 pen and stylus. We got in black and silver and blue models of the new Cross Tech 2 pens with a stylus at their top ends. The fine point ballpoint pens need no description to anyone who has ever written with a cross, except maybe to note that these do, as is traditional to the brand, twist to extend or retract. The new feature is the topside stylus. It works with capacitive touchscreens, most of what we have these days, and has some sweet surprises of its own. The designers finessed a dome that's a little narrower than most, and as a result, more precise when you use it. It's a lot more precise than a finger, and it's light back off the screen. Are thin enough to forgive the small amount of brutish tablet use. The biggest news, if that stylus tip ever wears off, you can unscrew it and screw in a replacement. Bottom line, the Cross Tech stylus and pen products add high touch to high tech on text touchscreens or on the more classic medium of paper. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Well, those have gotten better in my absence. It's interesting. Anyway, thank you for that one, Marty. The news tips are getting pretty cool. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We are 30 minutes after the hour. In the first hour, we are talking to Jeremy Hilton about the quantum computing and all these other high-speed stuff. And you know, if you've got a question for our guest, you can give us a call, 347-884-8881. The number again is 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. Or you can shoot us an email to live@computeramerica.com, or you can join us over at computeramerica.com in our live interactive add-on chat room. I'm there. Addison's there. We've even got a couple we've even got somebody in there named Lunchbox who's got a couple of interesting questions that I'll get to. You know, right above our live interactive add-on chat room, you can see our live video stream. I'm there. Craig is there. There's this phantom ghost that's still hanging out behind Craig, but don't tell him because I don't think he's seen it yet, and he'll freak out. And that wonderful live video stream is brought to you by Otherworld Computing. Great stuff from great people for all of your Mac needs, even your legacy Macs. Check them out, macsales.com. I think I got it all that time. See, I only mildly forgot everything.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Actually, Jeremy, we've got the chat room going on here, and everybody's in there, and everybody's having a good time. And there have been some questions brought up about the speed of the new quantum computing, and it's pretty active. If you haven't joined in, you should probably jump into the chat room because it'll make it much easier for you to respond. But the question was on an article that was posted on MSNBC about the first quantum computer not being faster than your typical computer. But you know, my general take is it's like comparing, you know, what do they say in the chat room? It's like comparing an abacus to a calculator right now. It's new technology, but the technology that you're competing against is old and it's been around for a while. So coming up, oh look, he's in the chat room now.
Yeah. He's in there.
And so now it's come around to, you know, you guys are you're in your infancy, you're just getting started. So is it really fair to compare you to the current processors, the i7s and things of that nature?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's absolutely necessary, right? If we're going to develop a technology that ultimately is going to provide commercially meaningful solutions, then the state of the art in the computing and algorithm world is where it's at. So you know, we're perfectly fine with that, and that's what we compare our machine against when we run problems on it. Now, the technology is a technology in progress. We're constantly making it more on that, and I think that some of the literature that's been published so far, we're actually quite proud of, because it's shown that even with literally less than 10 years of development on this technology, we've gone and found things to create these quantum bits with. We've coupled them together. We've developed this thing called quantum annealing to leverage quantum mechanical effects. And it's clear that it is using quantum mechanical effects to process information. And the state of art that we're seeing right now is that with this fundamental, it in general is matching the best algorithms that you can come up with to solve the problems that it solves. And so you can take highly optimized Costco algorithms and compare those against it, and we're seeing that they're comparable in performance. And so you say, well, shouldn't it be a lot better because it's using quantum computing? And our kind of position on this is that that's the trajectory that we see. And from, say, for example, the 128 qubit processor that the D-Wave 1 system was based on, to the from in terms of the performance to mature software solvers in the field, we've seen an incredible increase in performance on the order of more than 100,000 times improvement in performance. So what we care about internally is making sure that every generation of technology that is coming out is really going to be continuing to push that. And what we'll see is that, for example, that we've released has, and there are many generations that we've had internally that haven't been on, released as full products, has maintained a doubling of the number of quantum bits on a per year basis. And so, you know, as we talked about earlier, that state space, that 2 to the n number of values that you can put into a superposition, that's doubling. The n in the exponent is doubling on an annual basis, which means that state space is growing at an incredible amount. And so, well, you know, the reason that so some people have kind of said, well, shouldn't you wait until you know that this thing can solve problems and outperform it and really show the muscle of quantum computing? And our position has been that this is a fundamentally new that what the state of the art is, and start to think about how they can take advantage of it in their spaces, in their fields, because they'll potentially be able to bring fundamentally new approaches to major problems in different fields, and they should engage with it sooner rather than later. In fact, one of the big areas for us is that kind of feedback, that kind of knowledge about how to solve problems and what kinds of problems to solve, helps us design improvements into the technology that will make it even better for problems specifically in those spaces, or maybe just in general. So it's been really important with D-Wave, and I think we have an extensive publication track record. We've really reached out to the world to kind of showcase the technology and communicate what's going on inside, and are trying to get people engaged and understanding it.
Nice. Now I know right before the break you said you get this a lot, but so should I be expecting a quantum-powered iPhone anytime soon?
Well, back in 2009, I mentioned this machine learning and object identification in images, and we actually did a demo with Google where they were at a conference, and the goal was to basically train a piece of software to identify a car in a picture. And what they did was they actually ran that software on some Android phones that they allowed people to use at the conference. So people at the conference could grab a phone, take some pictures, and it would identify whether there was a car in the picture or not. So that was the first example of something that had been trained by the quantum computer. Now, back in 2009, that was a very primitive version of our machine, and it was really just to demonstrate that we could connect the two technologies and kind of along the lines of what we're talking about, to give us a sense of, okay, how powerful does our machine need to be in order to actually bring improvements in accuracy and something that will really change the game in those algorithms. And so that's a continuous work that we do, and we've been engaged with Google for a long time to understand that better.
Jeremy, another question in the chat room from Aaron. It says he asked the question: developing a new quantum computing processor, has it necessitated the invention of new technology in data storage, like hard drives or RAM or that type of thing?
No, so we have so far been able to leverage existing technology. I mean, high-performance compute clusters have incredibly advanced technology in these areas. And when we talk about our problems, I mean, what's probably not intuitive is that these types of problems that we solve, which are generally referred to in computer science lingo as NP-hard, are a type of problem where, with a pretty small problem, you can get into something that is exponentially difficult to solve, or in other words, impossible to solve. So when I say we have our D-Wave 2 is based on a 512-qubit processor, that means that our problems right now are defined within the bounds of 512 bits, right? So those are bits. We're not talking about bytes. We're talking about a very small amount of data. The hard part is in how you try to find the solutions to the problem that you're running. And so the data transfer between the classical machines and our hardware is relatively small. And the number of solutions you're getting, because the solutions really are just 512 bits per solution, also are very small. Even for the quantum processors themselves, we've been able to, part of the reason we focused on superconducting integrated circuits is that we've been able to leverage all of the advancements in the semiconductor industry in terms of fabrication to make all of our circuits. And for example, right now, we can build our 512-qubit processors and even our next generations that we're currently working on using technology that was current in the 90s from the semiconductor industry. As in as many places as possible, we're trying to really make sure that we can leverage the knowledge that is already being developed.
Okay. All right. Well, again, we have so many questions, and yet we're running out of time. We have, the time is moving on, and I do want to talk a little bit about the D-Wave 2 system. You're calling it the first commercial quantum computer, and I guess you can't run out to Best Buy and pick one of these up now, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, exactly. So who are your clients? Who buys these things?
Yeah, so sure. The two kind of major customers that we have that we've talked about are Lockheed Martin, for example, bought our first system. They actually bought a D-Wave 1 and subsequently a D-Wave 2. And they actually installed that technology at the University of Southern California, the Information Sciences Institute there, where they have a group at the university who does research with that technology, as well as developing their own internal kind of applications with the technology. And more recently, Google and NASA are customers. They signed on with the D-Wave 2 system, and have been plugging away at that. So those are the kinds of customers that we're interested in, and have been working with. We also, in the just to give kind of you a sense, in the financing round we completed over a year ago, we signed on Jeff Bezos and In-Q-Tel. And Jeff Bezos, of course, is the CEO of Amazon, although that was his own personal money from his own firm. And In-Q-Tel is a venture capital arm of a U.S. government agency, and that has actually represented a fantastic relationship where we've been able to really advance our technology, I think, and develop the level of understanding of what we can do and what we should be providing to make it work well. So those are the most notable customers that I can talk about at this point, but it gives you a sense of kind of the directions that people are interested in and I think the scope of the problem. So Google, obviously, their big interest is in machine learning. With Lockheed Martin, their major interest was in a problem called software verification and validation, and this is something that is basically you're saying, are there bugs in my code? Except that this is your code is something that runs a jet, for example, and so when you say it can't be buggy, I mean it really can't be buggy, or the jet's going to drop out of the sky, or it's going to malfunction in some way, and so that's activity is called software verification and validation, and it's a very, very hard problem. So they're looking for novel ways to try to solve that problem.
Let's go to Saginaw, Michigan. We got a listener who has a question for you. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi, Saginaw. What can we do for you?
Hi. Yeah, I do have a quick question. I was reading articles last month in June about your company, where it was saying that it's still not any faster than conventional computers. And then one article in sciencemag.org states that they actually fair to really measure, and equal out the machines. And basically, what my question is that what truly makes your computer worth the $10 million cost compared to a conventional machine?
Yeah, are all out there, and definitely there are lots of researchers who are non-D-Wave based researchers who are trying to explore and understand this technology, and the net result of a lot of that work has been to show that what the technology truly is harnessing quantum mechanical effects to perform computation. And so what makes it worthwhile for these kinds of customers to engage in this technology is the possibility of applying fundamentally new resources to problem spaces that they have. So for Lockheed Martin, for example, if you can find novel ways to approach the software V&V problem, you might actually find ways to solve it in ways you couldn't before. The results that were published that said, well, that processor doesn't seem to be doing better than the classical algorithms that those researchers used. The picture gets a little bit complicated, but if the specific benchmark types that they use were ones where the effects that quantum mechanics can bring to bear on the problem wouldn't actually be that effective. So if you kind of said, well, based on that benchmarking, if you had a processor that could harness all of the quantum mechanical effects in the world, and it could be, tunneling and superposition and entanglement and doing all these things, how would it compare against those algorithms? You would actually expect it to be pretty much the same as those algorithms. So in other words, it was a very specific type of test, and we've found that our customers and collaborators and colleagues, as well as internal work at D-Wave, that there are lots of other kinds of problem classes, and particularly ones where they connect more directly with real-world applications, where you don't see that same kind of effect. Where if you assumed you had a processor with all kinds of quantum mechanical resources, you can do classically. And that these kinds of high-profile customers are interested in exploring the technology, and they recognize that they're not going into this expecting that they'll immediately deploy it on their business and be solving their problems better than they could otherwise, because they understand that their problems are extremely complex, and it can take some time to develop these solutions. But they're really excited about the possibility of being able to explore the effects of these fundamentally new resources that aren't available anywhere else.
Okay, Saginaw, thank you so much for your question, and keep listening to the show. Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So again, 347-884-8881 is the number to get you on and get you through. We are talking to Jeremy from D-Wave Systems. Again, as I said, we've got less than about 6 minutes left here, and I want to try to cover this again because it's such a new technology. And what kind of applications are you working on now with this?
Yeah, so I've touched on a couple of them with our customers, and those are really the big spaces we're looking at. So the machine we're building really is good at two things. One is kind of a particular type of problem, and actually is a fairly broad space, and have heard of would be something like the traveling salesman problem, for example. That kind of problem is known to be very, very difficult to solve, and that's exactly what we've built our machine to solve. Yeah. So those are kinds of spaces that we get into, and optimization problems are kind of show up everywhere in big data.
Are more traditional things like I know the weather. Predicting the weather uses a huge amount of computational power. Do you see them using your services to streamline what it is, or get more accurate predictions more quickly?
So a lot of weather calculations use functions that are pretty straightforward to evaluate on classical hardware, and the challenge there becomes, can I get enough cores to kind of farm out my problem on to be able to compute interesting things? What isn't currently done with weather that I think will bring a lot more kind of reliability and accuracy to the modeling is something. If I could give a quick analogy, I'm cognizant of the time. If you imagine you wanted to process an image, and so a classical algorithm is going to think of an image in terms of its pixels, right? Because that's how it represents it digitally. When we look at an image, we look at it and we immediately, almost instantaneously, identify the objects in the image. We don't think of it in terms of pixels. We think of it in terms of the objects in that. And that's actually how we'd like our machines to think. They should be thinking like us. Let's have it be aware of the objects, because then they can pull out some context. So classical algorithm has to go to each pixel, and with each pixel it's going to say, am I part of an object that I should be interested in, yes or no? So weather calculations are kind of like subdividing that picture into a bunch of pixels, and each of the pixels gets computed on on a core, for example. With our technology and with optimization problems in machine learning, I'll do a better job of figuring out what that pixel is, if it belongs to an object, if I can take into account what its neighbors are. and maybe it's neighbors' neighbors. And so if you start to think of it as a neighborhood, if its neighboring pixels are a certain thing that you've already determined, then there's a good probability that it is as well. And so that becomes that's when you enter into this NP hard space. Now to keep track of all of those relationships, you've just dramatically increased the amount of computation you have to perform. And that's where this technology comes in handy. With weather models, it becomes impossible to try to do that, to develop those correlations and those neighboring interactions, because there's so much data to begin with. So that's an area where ultimately we aren't looking at weather right now because it is such a massive problem. But in the future, as our technology matures and we find better algorithms, there are ways for those technologies to come together.
Do you work with any academic researchers, solving physics or chemistry problems? I mean, do you work with the educational environment, or do you plan to?
We do, yeah. We have a number of collaborators in the academic world. I mean, both through our customers who have researchers involved, but as well just with independent researchers. There's a fellow named Alan Asper-Guzik at Harvard who is in quantum mechanical chemistry, and he's actually published papers on protein folding applications with our technology, and we've worked with him. So there are things that you can get into, and this is why we say we try to engage the field and people who are dealing with very challenging problems. The more that they could bring different techniques to bear on them, they might find new solutions. If we could, for example, figure out how to fold proteins, it would completely change medicine and human health and have a dramatic impact on the world.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, so basically, don't wait for this to appear on your personal computer, but certainly we will see quantum computing make more inroads into things that we do, and I know the government is always interested in quantum technologies when it comes to encryption and coding, and I just wish we had more time. But Jeremy, if people want to find more or get more information, just go to our website at computeramerica.com. Go to our show notes page, and you'll see today's date, July the 16th, and you'll see the link to D-Wave Systems. Click on it and check it out for yourself. And I hope that we can get you back on another show in the near future, Jeremy. Maybe we can get into more details with this. Okay?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks a lot. I'm grateful for the opportunity to talk to you guys, and you're a great audience, and it's been a pleasure. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. Plan to do that. All right, Jeremy. Have a good evening. Thank you again. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. So there you go. I got to tell you, what, Charles.
I'm here.
I mean, you're speechless, or what?
I was trying to avoid the quantum computing for passwords and for things like that, because it's such a new and emerging technology that it just really doesn't make any. There's no point in me bashing it right now. It's in its infancy, and it will that. It would be like saying, oh, it's in beta and it sucks. It's like, well, it's beta. It's meant to be hard to use. So I think we're a long way off before they start actually doing any real computation with it, or doing any real, we start seeing it in any real implementation. But yeah.
I think you're right. I think I know it's here and it's now. At least they've got the technology. They understand it and they're working on it. And I think as time progresses, we'll see more and more of that coming about. You listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. I understand we're having some transmission problems on the IRN Radio Network. Don't know why, because all the other ones are picking it up. At this point, the technology gods, I'm not sure what goes on. I do know that we're being heard, and hopefully we'll get everything back up and running. I'll make some calls and see if we can figure out what's going on there. In the meantime, we've got computer news stories coming up on the show in the next hour as well. You've got some interesting stories, Charles. What are some of the things that are coming up here on our computer news segment?
Let me get there.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I should be prepared for that.
Yeah.
There's one for Facebook is offering free Wi-Fi. Taylor Swift is we're trying to convince Taylor Swift to embrace streaming. You know, paralyzed jockey walks again with the help of a bionic suit kind of thing going on. Google Wallet update brings loyalty cards and Spanish support. Snapchat gets rejected for trying to take your payments because they couldn't handle secure messaging.
All right. Well, lots more stories, and we'll be coming up with that in an hour or two. We're just going to take a short break as we do at the top of the hour, and then I'm going to be right back. I mean, this first hour really was very, very cool. I mean, D-Wave systems, quantum computing, you know, a real look into the future. We're going to be right back. This is the Computer America Show. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host,
Craig Crossman. Ah, there it is. Now I wonder, can you say that intro backwards?
No.
in 25 years on the air, you've never tried?
No, don't plan to.
Oh, I'll see if I can. I'm not even. I'll figure it out one day.
It's tough enough. Just coming back.
All right. I am your co-host, certified ethical hacker, Charles Tyndall.
Yeah, exactly. And Charles is back after a 2-week hiatus, and he's going to be back on our regular schedule. If you just joined us, we had D-Wave Systems on, and if you got our show notes, you'll understand that we've had a schedule change. Intel is going to be with us on next Wednesday. Okay. However, the D-Wave Systems talking about their quantum computing technology. If you missed any portion of the show, of course, you can listen to it at any time over at blogtalkradio.com. We archive all of our shows here. And also, we archive all of our shows on our live computer video streaming page, which is brought to you by Otherworld Computing, quality products, expert support since 1988. You know, Otherworld Computing, they're going to be on the show. We're going to have them back on the program in a couple of weeks. Let's see, we're going to have them actually on the 28th of July. OWC Larry O'Connor is going to be joining us. But, you know, it's not only just Mac stuff. I mean, it's if you have, let's say, I don't know if you know this, if you have like a PlayStation 4, yeah, if you have a PlayStation 4, you go to MacSales.com, and you can, they actually have upgrade kits. For example, if you're looking for an upgrade kit to upgrade your hard drive to a, let's say to a 1 terabyte drive, you know, you can not only get the 1 terabyte drive from MacSales.com, you can get it for $114.99, $115. Get you a 1 terabyte drive, and it's not only just a 1 terabyte drive; it's a hybrid drive. So it's really blazingly fast, and they don't not only give you the drive, they give you a flash drive with it too, and they even give you the screwdriver that's appropriate to put it in. They give you the tools to do it, and they give you the installation video too. They actually have their own YouTube channel. So for $115, you get a 1 terabyte drive for your PlayStation. You can even get a 1.5 terabyte drive for $145. It's all over at Otherworld Computing. Check them out. They've got some amazing things, including their Aura line of solid-state drives. It's just, if you're looking for your legacy Mac, you can get portable batteries back to 1998 or memory. Just check them out at MacSales.com, MacSales.com. I know Charles frequents it a lot. I do as well.
I buy stuff.
Yeah, you buy stuff. Exactly. Check them out. You're going to be really happy about that we put you on to them. MacSales.com.
Yeah.
Okay. So the quantum.
Actually, you know, an interesting thing with Mac sales is you can get accessories too. So, but because they go for a Mac, are they technically called Maccessories?
I guess technically, yeah.
Maccessories. I think that works. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's see what else we want to talk about before we get started and do our news. Oh, well,
what have I missed? I've been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, we should talk a little bit about our good friends over at ProXPN. Our limited special offer is coming to an end. We had who did we just had on the other day? I was talking about ProXPN with them, and they understood how important something like that is. Yeah, they had. I'm just trying to think who it was the other day. It was no, it wasn't Pop Sarah. It was Ralph Bond. Yes, Ralph Bond. I was talking with him, and we were talking about the ProXPN. Basically, if you go to the website and you'll see their logo, just click on it. It'll go to our special ProXPN page. Basically, whenever you go online, you and your computer, you risk your privacy being compromised. If you use an open Wi-Fi connection, let's say it's Starbucks or your favorite bookstore, but even when you're at home, your internet service provider can monitor where you go, what you do, and if you do something that exceeds their guidelines, they can block whatever it is you're trying to do. But with ProXPN, you don't have to worry about any of this. Okay, it's an open VPN solution hosted not only here in the United States but globally as well, like in places like Amsterdam, London, and Singapore. So when you're online, you actually appear as though you're located in those cities. They don't know who you are or where you are, and that's the whole idea. It's 100% secure. I use it on my Mac. Basically, you can use it on your Android phone. It adds OpenVPN to Android, which it doesn't have. But if you want, it'll also let you use PPTP because it supports that as well.
Wait, what's it called again?
PPTP, Point Tunneling Protocol. So
what's the acronym?
And so here's something really cool. You can select which programs should be shut down in case your VPN connection goes down. So if you're on Firefox or you're on your browser and all of a sudden your VPN goes down, you can tell ProXPN to shut down the browser so they can't track you. You just closes it out. That's a very slick feature. Here's the deal. You can download ProXPN for free and use it, but the premium version is really so much faster and better. When you use and enter in the code COMPAM, when you do that, you'll get an additional 20% off any membership that you select. So if you go for the yearly plan, that's less than $5 a month. Okay, look, this is something you need in this day and age. We want you to try it out. That's why we have this set up. You just go to our ProXPN page, click anywhere on the page. It'll take you to the special website that we have set up with them. Put in the code COMPAM. You'll see all the numbers. The dollars just go away. 20% off any membership. And by the way, that's forever, not just the one time. Check it out, ProXPN.com. Just go to ComputerAmerica.com and check out our special offer there. All right, so I think it's time to do computer news. All right?
I think so.
All right, let's do it. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free.
Free! I was like, why is he pausing again? Oh, yeah.
2 weeks I missed that. Ben wouldn't do that.
Ben won't do that?
You didn't know how to do it. You knew how to do it. I was going to tell him to do it. Okay, so that's...
You're gonna have to get the audio. You could get it recorded and be like, when Ben does it, you can be like, free!
Exactly. So you can visit them at Slimware. Really, when you visit them, it really does clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system, and it's completely free. Check them out at slimwareutilities.com. Download all of them. You'll use all of them. It will do exactly what they say they do, and you'll be very happy that you downloaded them. Keep them in your toolbox when you need them, and you'll thank us for it. Really. slimwareutilities.com. Okay, so we're going to go to computer news, and this one from the Huffington Post. Facebook is just giving away free internet to some teens.
You stole my story.
Well, Facebook, is giving students access to the internet. On Tuesday, the company announced a new pilot program to provide free Wi-Fi access to high school students in Forest City, North Carolina, a Facebook data center site. The company is working with a North Carolina-based nonprofit internet provider called Pangea.
Pangea?
Pangea. In recent months, Facebook was thought to be losing its appeal among teens. We've talked about that many, many times. Though a recent survey from Forrester Research found that younger people are using Facebook in greater numbers and with more frequency than other social networks. But Facebook once admitted during an earnings call last year that it was having trouble keeping young teens on the site. So they're building off a previous initiative by Rutherford County Schools that provided more than 6,000 of the district's middle and high school students with personal laptops. Administrative officials soon learned that nearly half of those students had no access to Wi-Fi at home. As of right now, Facebook says it's providing the service to 75 to 100 homes and neighborhoods surrounding a school. Facebook worked with the town to create and establish Wi-Fi endpoints that give the entire area coverage. Facebook says it hopes to expand the program if the trial is successful. This program is still very early in its development, said the Facebook's spokesperson in an announcement. And we also have a lot of work to do to build out this network and ensure that it performs well for the students who need it. So there you go. So maybe it's not as unpopular as we were led to believe.
Facebook?
Facebook.
Facebook. Well, I don't know. I'm still not on it. Even at the
yeah, but you're not a teen either.
Yeah, I'm not. Sometimes my wife thinks I
am. Okay, all right. No, but yeah, it's nice that they're bringing it to students.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Well, you don't really need more students pretending to do things on Facebook. They're working. But do you like ice cream?
I love ice cream.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Who doesn't like ice cream?
People who are lactose intolerant?
Well, they have lactose free ice cream. I've seen it.
Really?
They do. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet it's on the same level as like sugar-free chocolate. It's just just something that shouldn't exist.
Well, you can take these pills, that allows you to eat, but evidently, you got a story about this?
I do. I've got something kind of to it on slashgear.com. MIT students make 3D ice cream printer. Yeah. The filament used for 3D printing is useful, but not terribly interesting. Others have taken to printing using other substances, some for notable purposes, others more or less for novelty. The 3D pancake printer is one such machine, but in recent times, MIT students have trumped it. MIT students Kyle Hausnell and Kristen Bunker and David Doyen Kim all worked together to make what might be the first 3D printer ever, after the one that might cure blindness, that is, a 3D ice cream printer. The machine does exactly what its title suggests. The way the printer works is simple, at least in description. Soft ice cream is extruded onto a surface in whatever shape is desired, then frozen using liquid nitrogen. The next layer of ice cream is then squirted upon the first layer, slowly forming a three-dimensional treat. The students say their idea came about out of a desire to make something that would draw kids' attention to technology. By creating a 3D printer that can make ice cream treats in various shapes, it might inspire kids to pursue their own scientific undertakings. I'd eat some 3D printed ice cream.
Sounds delicious.
I mean, just imagine, be like, hey, do you want a Star Pop, or do you want ice cream in the shape of your head? Yeah, depends on who you are.
I guess it does. Hey, anyway, this story from CNET. Microsoft is talking up the next version of Windows.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Microsoft opens up more about its plans to build bridges between Windows 8.1 modern user interface and the desktop. So Microsoft's Tony Prophet took a moment today to expand on a key feature in the next version of Windows at a Microsoft conference. Prophet, who is a corporate vice president of Windows marketing, offered a bit more clarity on comments executive Terry Myerson provided at Microsoft's Build conference in April. We are hard at work at the next version of Windows, Prophet said, at the company's worldwide printer conference taking place in Washington, D.C. And while we have nothing to announce today, I says I will share with you a couple of features we're thinking about, he said, explaining that the screenshot, which we have a picture of it, by the way, was originally showed at the Build conference in April. He began by mentioning that a new start menu is better because this one has live tiles and modern apps. In other words, when you look at the left of the start menu, it looks like the traditional start menu from Windows 7. However, to the right of that start menu, you're looking at tiles. So basically, you have the modern user interface and you have the traditional interface kind of side by side when you hit the start button, which is kind of interesting. He said he began by mentioning that the new start menu is because this one has live tiles and modern apps together. His slightly more detailed discussion focused on the desktop. He said the second feature we're thinking about, that means it's not in yet, is enabling modern apps to run windowed on the desktop version versus only running in the immersive full screen mode. This is something that Michael Miller actually hated. That you can only run it in full screen mode, not in a window. That this will enable you to run multiple modern apps side by side or layered, or a combination of modern apps and desktop programs side by side or layered. Okay. Microsoft is trying to bridge the relatively strict separation that currently exists on Windows 8.1 of the modern, aka Metro, user interface that is touch-friendly, and the more traditional desktop user interface, which is geared more toward the mouse and keyboard. Meyerson has described it as building smart bridges to the modern user interface. Why? Well, to state the obvious, the Windows world still revolves around the desktop, so the modern user interface can be an unnecessary distraction in its current segregated form to the desktop-centric users. This is, again, what Mike Miller just absolutely hated, that they wouldn't do this. One question that hasn't been answered is whether Microsoft is talking about the rumored Windows 9, aka Threshold, or yet another update to Windows 8. We don't know this. But note that Prophet did say the next version of Windows, unquote. Informed speculation is pointing to an update as early as this fall, or something bigger next year when a major new Windows release may come. So, there you go. And there are pictures of images of the CNET story. If you want to check it out, you can look at it.
What do you think? Do you want to hang out with? Are you even? Well, you're a Mac guy. You're not even interested in Windows, are you?
Well, yeah, I do. I use Windows from time to time. That's not true. I mean, I do.
Oh, that's right. You got like the weird touch screen thing in your.
Yeah, in the kitchen we have. I run Windows in the kitchen, and my wife uses it, and Ben, our co-host.
Co-host.
Yes, Coco. That was the other thing. He's known as the co-host, and he called you the Coco-host.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't know. I don't know if Charles is going to like that.
I'm like Ben. Don't get comfortable. It's still my spot. Still belongs to me. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, it's a double entendre, I think, is what it was.
Co-host.
The co-host. Yes, exactly.
Co-host. Whoa. Jonathan, don't send me links that have audio in them.
Okay. Anyway, the version of Windows. Yeah, I mean, I use it, and I run it with Parallels and on my Mac when I need to. And it's important. Jonathan says Ben is Coco for Cocoa Puffs. I'm sorry.
Hacked on Facebook. What is this?
What is it? What?
Something that this is what Jonathan sent me.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
feel like I should send it. I'm going to send this to my people because this is an easy story for me.
Anyway, that's it. Microsoft talking about the next version of Windows. So if you have any more interest in that, you can check it out at cnet.com.
Okay, hold on. You could. I've got another story here, but I wanted to send that off. You're an Amazon fan, right?
Yes, I am. Big time.
Are you an Amazon Prime member?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, this won't affect you anyway because you're an iPhone user, and it might come to some of my devices. But from AndroidAuthority.com, Amazon Prime Instant Video app for Android is, quote, imminent. Android is known for its amazingly wide selection of apps and services, but there is no doubt some developers are simply not willing to take the bait. Such has been the case with Amazon Instant Video app for Prime subscribers, an application that has found many forks in the road to the Google Play Store yet. The demand exists, and many of you have been begging for this app. Rejoice, as your prayers may have just been answered. New reports have emerged bearing rumors of Amazon planning to launch the Prime Instant Video app for Android. In what is claimed to be Amazon's words, the launch is imminent. End quote. Quote, imminent, end quote. No release window has been rumored, leaked, or announced. Also unclear is whether the app would be optimized for both smartphones and tablets or not. But the app is coming.
What
was that noise?
No, that was me clicking on something.
Oh, anyway.
Okay.
This is a bit of a curious situation, as Amazon's very own Kindle Fire devices do feature Instant Video app in all its glory. It's important to note that Kindle Fire devices are, after all, Android tablets. They may be completely different and heavily modified, but the Android-bearing gadgets are still part of our distant family. Amazon seems to be worried that releasing the official Android app would help Kindle Fire sales plummet. This is true. Why would you buy a Kindle when you can buy a Nexus? As there wouldn't be much of an incentive to grab an Amazon device over any other Android tablet. After all, the app has been available for iOS, game consoles, and smart TVs for a long time, as well as Android was Android was literally being left outside of the equation. Amazon must realize this could also bring more users to their streaming service. After all, do many of us really choose our tablets and smartphones based on Amazon Instant Video compatibility? No. We are sure they may lose a few Kindle Fire sales, but they may also gain a healthy amount of new Prime subscribers. Once again, this is a rumor. We must keep this in mind, so don't hold your breath on this information, at least until we get an official announcement or more proof.
Do you use Amazon Prime?
Yeah, we're huge in Amazon Prime, but we don't use it for the video. We use it for streaming, or not streaming. We use it for like purchases, because we always joke about it. It doesn't matter what time of night. If you're a Prime user, right? If you're on Amazon Prime and you click something, you say you want it there the next day, the shipping monkey immediately goes to work. Like immediately, like before you hit buy, it's already on a truck coming to you. It is ridiculous how fast and efficient they are.
Well, speaking about Amazon, did you know, according to Fortune, that Amazon is testing a Netflix-style ebook subscription service?
I don't know what that would look like.
Well, Amazon is testing this monthly ebook subscription service that would let customers read as many titles as they want for a flat fee.
Interesting.
Yeah, the users of a forum dedicated to the Amazon Kindle first noticed ads on Amazon.com for a new service called Kindle Unlimited, which would offer members unlimited access to more than 600,000 ebook rentals for $9.99 a month. Okay, GigaOM was the first to report on the ads, which have since been removed from Amazon's site, but still exist in cached form, and which tout a service offering unlimited reading on any device. Now, at the moment, Amazon offers customers ebook rentals through its Amazon Prime membership, but that service only allows for one rental per month and is limited to Amazon devices. The new service is reminiscent of Netflix, which lets subscribers watch an unlimited number of movies and television shows. GigaOM notes that the service, which would compete with existing ebook subscription services such as Scribd and Oyster, would mostly feature titles from Amazon's own publishing arm, though Amazon has reported talking to larger publishers about participating. An Amazon spokesperson did not immediately respond to Fortune's request for comment, so there it is. So it's still out in the open. I like services. I like the model, of where you can get all you can eat. It's the all you can eat, kind of a model where Netflix will let you watch all the videos you want for $8 a month or something like that. And this is along the same line. Amazon offering all the books you can read. and you know, I guess it all depends. I mean, I'm impressed when Ben will read a book that's literally like 3.5 inches, almost 4 inches thick, and he reads it like in 2 days. I go, oh my gosh! I mean, the kid is a voracious reader, and
He just doesn't have a life. That's the problem.
yeah, and his brother is the same way. I mean, he just reads before he goes to bed. That's it. He'll read for a couple hours, but he reads amazingly fast. I've watched him turn the page. I mean, he just reads the books, and his retention is 100%. I mean, he remembers everything he reads. He and his brother are very impressive, and they have always been, and always. They have copious quantities of books that they read, and I've always asked him, why don't you just go to an ebook? And he's tried a couple of e-readers, but he's never been happy with them. So I guess he still likes to turn the page the old-fashioned way. But someone like that, who I think this Amazon service would be extremely appealing to, because one book a month is just not going to do it for a person like that. And Ben, that's not the only kind of kid in the world that does it. I'm sure there are other people out there that also have a voracious reading appetite and speed, and I would think that people like that would find something like this amazingly attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see if it continues on. We'll have to see.
For me, it is. I sit down and I try and read these things. It just never happens. So I end up listening to the audio books a lot more.
Yeah. Of course. Listening to an audiobook is a lot slower than reading the book.
No, you can actually increase the speed of the recording. Yeah, and I've done that.
Yeah, but then it kind of loses its appeal because a lot of the people who are reading these things, they embellish it with their inflection and tonal. They're not just monotonely.
It's nice.
Monotone. Yeah, they're adding a lot, and you lose that if you speed it up like Mickey Mouse. So. Exactly. So I think it's really not the same thing, that especially for and I wouldn't call Ben a speed reader. That's what he is, though. I mean, he's just reading at those incredible speeds. He just learned how to do it.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Very impressive. He's good. Anyway, I think it's your turn to pick a story.
I had a story up, but then I got sidetracked with this story because when was the last time you used a BlackBerry? Have you ever used a BlackBerry?
No. I've seen them, but I've never had the experience of using them. But I understand. Yeah, they're getting serious about something.
Yeah, but I'm bummed. For Mashable.com, BlackBerry is getting Siri Us with a voice-enabled assistant. BlackBerry is planning a Siri-like voice-enabled assistant, the company revealed Wednesday. Like Siri and Windows Phone's Cortana, BlackBerry Assistant responds to voice commands, but also uses the Passport's keyboard. What?
Yeah,
to respond to typed commands. Mm-hmm. It will ship with the upcoming BlackBerry Passport. What is that?
That's their new model phone, and that uses the Passport keyboard, which when you type something, it'll give you it fills in alternative words that you might use. It's predictive. It's a predictive keyboard. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Huh. It looks like a note, but okay. And we'll be able to launch apps, respond to voice commands, and control your device's settings. I'm driving, and I ask it to read my latest email to me. It does so, said the social media marketing lead at BlackBerry, wrote in a blog post. I can then ask it to mark unread without having to enter the BlackBerry hub. If I'm in a meeting and type "remind me to follow up with Matt about our whiteboard session," it builds me a reminder note that I can save without leaving the assistant. Interesting. Though the Waterloo based company hasn't provided a full breakdown of the app's functionality, we know it will be able to launch and control apps, tweak certain device settings like changing notification settings to phone calls only, and will be compatible with Bluetooth devices. Like Cortana, BlackBerry Assistant will continuously learn from your actions and will get smarter the more you use it. Assistant is BlackBerry's latest attempt to catch up to its hardware competitors after continuously falling revenues, and other recent setbacks. The company previewed its upcoming extra-wide Passport earlier this month after announcing it would be bringing Amazon's App Store to its users in an attempt to close the platform's app gap.
Did you see you weren't, I think Ben and I reported on it, but the Passport, it doesn't look like a traditional phone.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it, and I'm like, it looks kind of weird.
It's square. It's not a tablet yet. It's kind of square, but a lot of people kind of like it, and they're thinking that the business people, because you can see spreadsheets on it, really, you can see business things on it. It's a really kind of a cool looking phone. And anyway, the BlackBerry Passport.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well.
One time since I've touched a BlackBerry, maybe it's time to play with one.
Yeah. Anyway, they're getting serious about it. Exactly. This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We've got more computer and technology news coming at you. Stay with us.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Salutations. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin review of Duck brand professional electrical tape. Back in ancient times, when we first worked with electronics and electricity, we tried not to use wire nuts. Some of the low power, low impedance connections, like intercom speaker wires, just got twisted, sometimes soldered, sometimes not, then wrapped with vinyl electrical tape.
I used to do that.
In those hobby days, we might go through a roll or two per month. Mm-hmm. Of late, that might hold us for a year or several. When we ran into Duck Professional Electrical Tape, we wanted to take a look at what's changed. One thing we noticed is that 600-volt rated tape is now good to 80 degrees centigrade or 176 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not good to that. The tape's good to that. It remains stretchy in a way that means a tight wrap might be somewhat self-securing even without the adhesive, but adhesive seems more tenacious and less vulnerable to loss of efficacy even after repeated contact with finger oils. Oops. Bottom line, Duck Professional Electrical Tape works so well now that we wish we'd been able to get it back then. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
It's duct tape from the future. Welcome back to the Computer America Show, 33 minutes after the hour in the second hour, and Craig and I are doing computer technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of the Computer America Show. Visit slimwareutilities.com to learn how you can clean, speed up, and optimize your computer for
free.
Being gone for 2 weeks just makes that worth it.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-year-old. Free.
So what was that? A wristband that you were just holding up or something? It looked
No.
It looked like a wristband. Yeah. What is that?
Oh no, this is an adapter so that I can convert and use the lavalier microphone with my iPad if necessary.
I see. Okay, I get it. That electrical tape again. Marty Winston's news tip bulletins. He has some interesting things. I mean, I remember doing that, and in lieu of wire nuts, when you had something that was really really tiny, you'd use tape, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't. So obviously, this duct tape is a Duck brand electrical tape because they also have tape. DUCK, duct tape, but they also make this electrical tape now, and evidently it's really good, so I'm going to pick some up and try it myself. Yeah, exactly. But he always comes up with interesting things. I really like his news tips bulletins.
Yeah.
He's got a 3-minute bulletin that we might actually play one evening, maybe in the upcoming weeks ahead. I listened to it. It was very cool. It's like 3.5 minutes long, but I think I might actually play it. He's got some interesting things to talk about.
Nice.
All right. So anyway, as you heard, we're doing computer technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, and we were talking about the Passport from BlackBerry, and again, it's an unusual shape. It's not like a square, but it's a phone. I think a little hard pressed to fit into a business suit, but I think a pocket, but I think that they're thinking that it's going to. Ben didn't think it was going to work. Ben is the naysayer. He says, no, I think it's going to fall flat on its face. But if you need a screen room, but you still need a good phone, and a phablet is too big for you, this is sort of like between a phablet and a large form factor phone. It's sort of like in between that, so it might find but I think it's only going to be a niche market. I don't think it's going to be huge. At least, I don't know. Well,
I think it's going to come down and be something similar to like, the Note 3 type of thing that's going on. If you have to be a specific kind of user to get those.
Mm-hmm. Well, this story from Cult of the Mac. Apple boosts iCloud email encryption to keep out snoopers. Okay.
Snooper.
Apple has added extra protection to its iCloud outgoing email, making it harder for hackers, the NSA, who by the way is in the chat room, or any other malicious spying groups to get their digits on your messages. The story goes on to say a month after Apple promised to boost iCloud's email security, a new transparency report from Google shows that at least 95% of incoming iCloud.com and Me.com email messages are now encrypted. Before the change, only messages sent from an iCloud or Me.com account to another iCloud account were encrypted. Okay. The only problem with Apple's new encryption format is that it requires other email providers who receive the message to support the same transport layer security format, or TLS. TLS allows, yet another an acronym that we have to remember now. TLS allows sending and receiving servers to verify messages for authenticity. Even the messages themselves can be verified, making it much harder for third parties to secretly intercept messages. Any messages sent from iCloud.com to a provider that doesn't support TLS won't stay encrypted. Google says 73% of its outbound messages are now encrypted as of July the 10th, but only 56% of those received are encrypted. So there it is.
Huh.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm trying to figure out something else on my device here, but I have no thoughts.
No thoughts.
I have no thoughts.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you gonna pick another story?
I am, because I want to talk about one that I'm going to slip in there because this is the only time that you let me talk about cars is when it's one of these.
Tesla?
Yeah, Autoblog.com. Tesla 3 Series Fighter to be named Model 3. Tesla really is a unique automaker. Usually when a new model is confirmed, there are big press announcements touting the company's latest, greatest vehicle and everything it can do for consumers. Elon Musk's electric car company likes to do things a little differently, though. Instead, the CEO gave an interview about its long-awaited entry-level offering, the Model 3, to the UK Auto Express and confirmed the story on its Facebook page, right?
Okay.
Corporate statements doesn't get much simpler, and there's a picture on the Facebook page that says confirmed. Our Gen 3 car due out after Model X will be named the Model 3. FYI, the Model 3 images used by Auto Express were mock-ups based on their own speculation. It looks hot.
Yeah, it does.
Tesla Model 3 to challenge the BMW 3 Series world exclusive.
Doesn't it look a little bit like a Jaguar? It looks like to me like a Jaguar.
It does. I mean, if it's cheaper than the Model S, then it's mine. You know, I feel bad for who is it? Mike Cermak, who's like still on a waiting list, is probably going to end up on yet another waiting list. You know?
Okay.
But it's cool. Anyway, it says corporate statements don't get much simpler and to the point than that. The smaller, cheaper Model 3 will be aimed against compact premium sedans like the BMW 3 Series and will be unveiled in 2016, before actually going on sale in 2017. According to Musk, the new vehicle will offer a 200-mile range and will carry a price of around, $35,000. Musk told Auto Express Tesla was seriously planning to call it the Model E until Ford disputed the name. Of course, Ford would dispute the name. Does Ford have a Model E?
Evidently.
Stupid. The new model is going to be called Model 3 because it's written with the 3, not with the Roman numerals, so it's an E backwards, right? We'll have 3 bars to represent it. We'll have 3 to represent it. It'll be S3X. What? He said. Sadly, Musk didn't reveal any other technical details about the Model 3. However, it's rumored to be about 20% smaller than the Model S. To save money, the platform reportedly uses a more steel-intensive construction. Weird. Why would you make it heavier?
I don't know.
Bigger brother. And the battery packs are likely to come from Tesla Gigafactory. Musk also let slip on one last detail while speaking to Auto Express. It turns out that the rumored update for the Roadster is entirely real and involves an upgraded battery pack available to existing owners to boost range from the current 245 miles to around 400 miles.
Wow.
He didn't say when the modification would be available, though.
Well, that's nice.
I wouldn't drive that. I would not drive the
why
the coupe version. It's horrible. Oh, wait. Autoblog.com, there's something else.
What is that?
It's awesome. It's a video about Jay Leno and his 69 442.
Ah.
Yeah. Anytime I see one, I'm like, oh, it's mine.
Yeah.
69 is by far one of the... Oh, he scraped his pipes. It is by far one of the sexiest ones of it, but
well, the
I love them.
442. That was 4.
The 4.4.
4-barrel carburetor. No, 4 on the floor, dual exhaust, right? Yeah. Exactly.
4-barrel carburetor, 4 on the floor, dual exhaust.
That's where it came from.
Oh, he scraped the... Ooh. He hit the on-ramp and hit and bent his exhaust pipe on it. But I do it all the time in my Lorraine, so... But he's got a hard top, and that's really one that I want.
This story from SlashGear. Google Wallet. You use Google Wallet?
No.
Google Wallet update brings loyalty cards and Spanish support. Okay. The Google Wallet app for iOS and Android has been updated today and brings with it some tweaks that may have you actually wanting to use it. Okay. Instead of relying on mobile payments, Google's troubled app now keeps track of your loyalty cards and even lets you request money or pay someone for free. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to keeping track of your loyalty cards, I use the Kia, not Keystone. What is it called? I use is it called Keykeeper? What is the one that I use that for shopping? It's called Keyring. Yeah, Keyring. I like Keyring.
Keyring is the one that's built into your phone, isn't it?
No, it's an app you buy it. I mean, it's free. It's totally free. In addition to keeping track of your loyalty cards, you can also manage your gift cards and redeem them in store. With the snap of your smartphone camera, you can make sure all your cards are kept safely in wallet. To redeem gift cards or use loyalty cards, all you have to do is show them to the cashier at the store to scan. Relying on their location awareness capabilities, Google Wallet will also send you a notification when you're near a store where you have a gift card. For now, this is limited to a few merchants like Nike, Toys R Us, and Whole Foods. That's kind of a neat feature. Wallet will also let you send money to the Gmail feature that rolled out some time ago, but the transaction fees have been waived. That's nice. Google used to charge a 2.9% fee, but that's been removed. The app also supports Spanish now, so those more comfortable with Spanish will also find the app much more useful. It's still limited to use on the U.S., though. It's to use in the U.S. at this time, not in the Spanish-speaking area. Okay. Hey, by the way, I really neglected this, but I have an update alert.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I'm doing this. What I'm doing is I'm doing some update alerts. I can't obviously have every single app available for the iPhone. There's too many of them out there. But either it's one that I have that I use personally, or know about that's important. And I now, for example, Chrome. I do have Chrome. I use Safari on it, but I do have the Chrome app. Chrome has just been updated to a new version today, yesterday actually, to a new version of Chrome. It allows mobile sites that have added Cast support to work with your Cast-enabled device. So you have Chromecast. Now mobile sites that have added Chromecast support will now work with your Chrome, mobile Chrome. And also some additional stability improvements in bug fixes. So it's version 36.0.1985.49. But that's it. Update your mobile Chrome. Yelp also updated their app. I really like Yelp. It's got version 8.0.0. And I thought it was because the comment from the people who make the Yelp, it says, we've been hard at work with a new feature that'll let you find the closest restaurants and bars showing the World Cup. Then,
this is outdated.
Wait, what's that? It ended this weekend? Oh, man, we got to get out of the office more. He says, well, enjoy the other bug fixes and enhancements that we let out with this one. Okay, so the Yelp's been updated to 8.0.0. And also, one that I really love and I use a lot, SoundHound has been updated. Version 6.1 just came out today, okay, Wednesday. And it says, you asked for it, you got it. Song release date. The song release date has now been added to the song page. Okay, SoundHound is this great little app that if you hear a song or something you don't know what it is, you just launch SoundHound and it'll tell you what's playing immediately, and it's wickedly accurate. Just with a few notes, it'll tell you the song that you're listening to. It also has what they call live lyrics. I don't know if you've seen this, but the live lyrics, you'll actually see the lyrics on your screen. And not only is it, as you're listening to the song wherever you are, the lyrics to that particular passage is what you're looking at on a word-for-word basis. As you hear the music, you're seeing the lyrics, and the guy singing the lyrics, you actually see the lyrics appear on your screen. I don't know how they do it. It's evidently incredibly common, but they do it. They actually match the lyrics. They're not just displaying it, but it's like, follow the bouncing ball. You ever seen that? You can actually see the words as they're being sung. Right? So basically, song release date has been added to the song page, so now you know what that is. So you know what the release date was. Cleaner pages as you dive into the details, and also if you have a song stuck in your head, it says we are always improving our sing and hum search. They've improved the search, so they encourage you to try it out. And one other app that they've updated today, a Passport. I like this. This is the app that allows you, if you you don't have any loose change in your pocket, and you park your car and you're at a parking meter, and instead of soliciting for, hey, can you give me change of $1 to pedestrians walking by, you can use Passport on the your app, and the parking meter will actually register, parking. You can put in, half an hour, an hour. You put in as many quarters you want to. Passport, you do. They got a new version, 5.1.5, and it's minor bug fixes, but that came out today as well. So that's the update alert. Just that we would let you know. Okay.
So wait, tell me about this Passport. The Passport thing. It's the one that comes built into your iPhone, right?
No, Passport. It's a standalone app. You're thinking of the Passport wallet. This is just it's called Passport. It's a standalone app, and it only works in the cities that support it. But a lot of the big major cities now support it. When you go to a parking meter, it'll say on the meter if you have Passport, and you don't have any change, you can just run the app, and it will, you put $1 worth or $2 worth, and you'll watch the meter instantly register your purchase, and you'll see it right in the parking meter.
Nice.
Comes in handy, and I've used it a couple times. It's a very cool little app, and they just had an update for it. As I said, I don't have anywhere near all the hundreds of thousands of apps, but the ones that I do use, and when they have updates, I'll either report to you or let you know about them, or if I know something that's very cool, I'll let you know about that as well. Okay. And there's a lot. All right. So your turn to pick a story.
I'm just checking my my Bitcoin balance right now. Hold on 1 second here.
Okay.
Bitcoin is currently trading at 618.3. Okay, so I'm not a billionaire yet, but hey, we're getting there. Now, because we were talking about some Apple products and you were giving me some updates, this is interesting. So everybody's jumping on this bandwagon to avoid the NSA and their snooping. Apple boosts iCloud email encryption to keep out snoopers.
Oh, I just did that story. You weren't listening.
I wasn't. Apparently not.
Sorry, I did that one. I'm sorry.
You're like stealing my stories. Let's see what else is up here.
Okay.
Did you do the Snapchat payment one?
No. Go ahead. Do that.
All right. We'll do the Snapchat payment one. That's a really long story. So let's see what I can get out of it in the first few seconds. Snapchat files trademarks to handle payments. God, I hope not. Mm-hmm. SnapPay. Snapchat may try to monetize by processing peer-to-peer payments, money transfers, or online payments, according to 2 trademarks it filed earlier this week. Owned by Snapchat and filed on July 11th by an attorney at Cooley, which is known to be Snapchat's law firm, the trademarks could keep anyone else from entering the same space under the Snapchat name. After being tipped off to the trademarks by a source, I've contacted Snapchat and I'm awaiting a response regarding what exactly these trademarks are about. Update: Snapchat declined to comment. Yeah. Laugh it up all you want about Snapchat making your money disappear. Exactly. This could be serious business. Specifically, the 2 trademarks are computer application software for processing electronic payments to and from others that may be downloaded from a global computer network. Bitcoin. Okay. Electronic transfers of money for others, providing electronic processing of electronic funds transfer, ACH, credit card, debit card, electronic check, and electronic mobile and online payments. The second one is PayPal wannabe. Until now, speculation about Snapchat's monetization routes have focused around advertising, in-app purchases of virtual goods, and sponsorship from brands for promoting live events. These trademarks paint a different picture. It's not the only one that might look to earn money on messaging through money transfers. Facebook recently hired PayPal president David Marcus to head up its Messenger division. Interesting. Snapchat has done some staffing of its own on the monetization front. It hired Instagram's head of business, Emily White, as COO in late 2013, and last month poached Facebook's global director of its preferred marketing developer program, Mike Randall, to be Snapchat's VP of Business and Marketing Partnerships. If Snapchat does get into payments, it might allow friends to send cash back and forth or buy things online with a credit card registered in its app, similar to Venmo. By taking a small fee on payments, it could earn money without forcing users to watch interruptive ads, buy filters, or have their experience cluttered with our stories from brands. Imagine getting a flash sale snap of a cool product from a commerce company. Snapchat could potentially let you pay to buy that product from within its app. The startup has also already dabbled in commerce. It provides links for users to buy from iTunes. The Awesome Songs feature is in its announcement of new features like Stange Talks Young Hearts or Gold Room's Embrace. I think those are songs.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. At the very least, Snapchat may have filed the trademarks to keep the option of processing payments under its name.
Doesn't it make you feel older when you don't really know these songs? You don't know the song, the kids,
Yeah. Well, Jordan starts singing things sometimes, and I'm like, what is that nonsense you were singing? It's a song, Daddy. All the kids are singing it. I'm like,
yeah.
You kids call that music now.
Every generation does that, though.
Yeah, you call that music. Yeah, I know. And the more I say it to her, the more I'm like, oh man,
you're becoming.
I'm becoming my father. You know?
Father, exactly.
Becoming my father, which is not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Not a bad thing at all.
As I became older, I realized that basically I was my father.
Yeah.
That's
but it's a good thing. I mean, the things that we've learned from our father, like it's like there are little things that I picked up from him. Like to this day, right? To this day, anytime I come to an intersection in a vehicle, I always hear my dad go, "Look left, look right, and then look left again for the idiot who didn't commit to the turn."
That's right. I do that too. You're right. You're right. That's true. I mean, you get these little pearls of wisdom that really do make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You don't know it at the time you're hearing it, but boy, I'll tell you, it happens time and time again. Makes you realize you're getting older, a bit wiser too. Okay. Okay. So, do we have time for maybe one more story? I can do one more story here. Microsoft's Bing starts taking the rights to be forgotten requests. Remember this? NBC News talks about Microsoft has started taking requests from people in Europe who want to be removed from its Bing search engine results following a court judgment back in May guaranteeing the right to be forgotten. Bing has 2.5% of the European search market. Okay. Microsoft's move follows market leader Google, which started removing some search results last month. The Luxembourg-based Court of Justice in the European Union ruled in May that Google must remove a link to a 15-year-old newspaper article about a Spanish man's bankruptcy, effectively upholding people's rights to be forgotten on the Internet. The ruling, which affects the EU's 500 million citizens, requires that the Internet search services remove information deemed inadequate, irrelevant, or no longer relevant. Microsoft's Forgotten form is available on its Bing website. So there you go. So it's yeah, exactly. So you do have the right to be forgotten.
Yeah, you can. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's the reason I say good luck with that is you have to look at what what Google has been doing with these. You have to fall into a select category. You have to be in the United Kingdom. You have to have information that's over there. Like try that in the U.S. Try some of those things in the U.S. and it's much harder to get stuff down. Now, it's not impossible, right? It's not impossible, but it's not easy to do.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, Charles, my friend, welcome back to the program, and I know you're going to be with us tomorrow and the rest of the week. I do know that you're going to be also, you're every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday now. Ben is Monday and Tuesday, but on the week of the 28th, you are going to be on with us Monday because OWC, Larry O'Connor, the owner of OWC, is going to be on with us, and I know you requested you want to be on with him on the show. He's going to be on vacation. So he'll be calling. I think it's a staycation basically because I spoke with him. Yeah, but still he's going to be on vacation and I don't know. Maybe not. I'm thinking somebody else. No, I think he's actually going to be some other part of the country. But he wants to be on with us, and he asked if we could do it on the 28th, and I said absolutely. So he's going to be on with us, and I know you want to be on with him too. Again, OWC, Other World Computing. That's going to be on the 28th. Just a heads up again, if you didn't get our show reminder bulletin, on the 22nd of July, we're going to have no live show. It'll be a best-of program. And then on the 23rd, we're back live, of course, the next day. Intel is going to be with us. They were supposed to be on with us tonight, and Intel wanted to switch. So we booked D-Wave Systems, the quantum computer company. Again, thanks so much for being Jeremy Hilton from D-Wave. Very interesting show. We're going to have him back. Intel will be on the 23rd in the first hour of the show. That will be their monthly appearance. Tomorrow night, it's going to be our All Linux show.
90 seconds.
They've moved to the Thursdays now. The third Thursday of the month. They're going to be with Larry Bushy. And his topic tomorrow night is going to be Linux and total world domination. Okay. Again, now if you have any interest in Linux or you've heard about it, it's the alternative operating system. And if you have questions or comments about Linux, this is going to be the show that you want to, join us on. It's now on every third Thursday of the month, and Larry Bush is going to be with us here. Everything you want to know about Linux and more. Again, topic's going to be Linux and total world domination, and we have live show notes. It's just going to be a fun show. Again, thanks to D-Wave Systems for being with us here on the last moment's notice, and Charles, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back.
Yes, it is. It's good to have you back. And we will see you tomorrow night.
Mañana.
So about wraps it up. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes
squiffy,
floppy,
flimsy.
Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow night.
10 seconds.
Say good night, Charles.
Good night, Charles.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and so we are out there. And yes, so see you tomorrow night. All right, and we're out of the chat room, but we still have the Google Hangouts live going. And thanks again for everybody for joining us. And Charles and I will see you tomorrow night in our All Linux show.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Stay with me, Charles. I want to talk to you. All right. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.